السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله على إحسانه وشكر له على تفضله وامتنانه، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله تعظيما لشأنه، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله داعي إلى رضوانه وعلى آله وأصحابه وإخوانه. أما بعد. إخواني في الله, we're continuing with our fiqh class regarding the book of Siyam, the book of fasting. The month of Ramadan is upon us. It's a very short time, inshallah, we'll be in the month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us reach the month of Ramadan and enable us to fast it. Ikhwani fillah, question: in which year was Ramadan made obligatory upon the Muslims? In which year was Ramadan made obligatory upon the Muslims? And how many Ramadans did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam fast? Question: in which year was Ramadan made compulsory on us as Muslims? And how many Ramadans did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam fast? Who knows the answer? There'll be a present, there'll be water. This is the only present I have today. Who knows which year was Ramadan made compulsory? And how many Ramadans did our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam fast? We have done this before. Naam. It was made obligatory in the second year, before the Battle of Badr. Just a month or some few months before the Battle of Badr. The Prophet ﷺ fought the Battle of Badr when he was fasting. The Battle of Badr was on 17th of Ramadan, the year 2 of the Hijri calendar. So if the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the Sawm was made obligatory in year 2. How many Ramadans did Prophet Muhammad ﷺ fast? How many Ramadans did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam fast? 9. He fasted year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10. Those are 9 years. He did not fast year 11. Why did he not fast year 11? Because he passed away alayhi salatu wasalam in year 11. He passed on the 12th of Rabiul Awwal of year 11. The Jews, they used to take the days that their enemies die as a day of celebration. So Dawla al-Fatimiyya, the Ismailis, when they took over North Africa, they brought this celebration on the 12th of Rabiul Awwal. They celebrate, but they called it the Mawlid. It is not the day Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born. We do not know the day he was born alayhi salam. He was born on a Monday in Rabiul Awwal, in the year of the elephant, but the date we do not know. But you are 100% sure that the Prophet ﷺ died on the 12th of Rabi'ul Awwal, the year 11 of the Hijri calendar. Ikhwani fillah, we continue with our second condition with regards to fasting. What are the conditions required for fasting to be obligatory upon you? The first one we mentioned yesterday is Islam. The first condition is that of Islam. So you have to be a Muslim for your fast to be accepted by Allah Azza wa Jal. The second condition, ikhwani fillah, is puberty, al-bulugh, reaching the age of puberty. And we said for boys or for all genders, not for all genders, yes, I think so. The first way of telling someone has reached puberty is that they have hair growing on their private parts. Right, together? Hair on their pubic hair on their private parts. The second, wet dream. The second is the wet dream. The third is reaching the age of 15 years. The third is reaching the age of 15 years. And there's a fourth one that is specific to girls, which is menstruation periods. So these are the 4 ways you can tell that someone has reached bulugh, has reached puberty. The mistake that most of us ikhwani we make is that if you're born in the year 2009, if you're born in the year 2009, right now in the year 2024, how old do you be if you're born in 2009 and this year is 2024? All of you know maths. How old will you be? Born 2009, we're now in 2024. How old is that person? Now? 15. But do you follow this 15 of the Gregorian calendar, or the 15 of the Hijri calendar? Huh? Have you understood the mistake? You tell our children, don't pray yet, you're not yet 15, it's not wajib upon you. But the child reaches 15 in the Hijri calendar before he reaches it in this other Christian calendar. So if a child is 14 and a half, based on this calendar that we used January to December, 14 and a half approximately, that child has already reached the age of 15 based on Islam. Are you together? So someone who's also 38 and a half approximately, based on this other calendar, is reached the age of 40. حتى إذا بلغ أشده وبلغ 40 سنة قال ربي أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي. Just understand that. So when I ask your age, there's the age based on this calendar we follow here, and there's a true age. So all of you are older than what you claim. All of you are older than what you claim. So from the conditions of Siyam being obligatory is that you have to reach puberty. And we have said the signs of puberty are those 4. Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he says, رُفِعَ الْقَلَمُ عَنْ ثَلَاثَةٍ. The pen has been lifted on 3 people. It shall not be recording anything. Number 1, he says, عَنِ النَّائِمِ حَتَّى يَسْتَيْقِظ. The one who is asleep until they wake up. وَعَنِ الصَّبِيِّ حَتَّى يَبْلُغ. And on the child until they reach the age of puberty. وَعَنِ الْمَجْنُونِ حَتَّى يَعْقِلْ. And the one who's lost his brain until his brain comes back. The Prophet ﷺ says, وَعَنِ الصَّبِيِّ حَتَّى يَبْلُغ. For the child until they reach puberty, there's no sin been written on them. There's no obligation because they do not understand what is required of them. طيب, question. A child has reached the age of 15 or has a wet dream today or has gotten her periods or the pubic hair has grown. Are they supposed to pay the fast for all those years that passed? Easy question. All those years they lived in this world, are they supposed to pay? No. طيب. What if on the 10th of Ramadan, it has reached the 10th of Ramadan, the boy, he sleeps after Fajr. At 10 o'clock he sees his trousers are wet, he had a wet dream. Right together? Is he supposed to fast that day? Easiest question in the world. He didn't start that day fasting, so it's not upon him to fast that day. Are you together? Is he supposed to pay for that day? Are you understanding the question? Is he supposed to pay for that particular day? He had a wet dream at 10 a.m. in the morning or 11 a.m. Is he supposed to pay for that day? No, because at the time of Fajr, when the obligation of Siyam began, he was not amongst the people who obligation was falling upon. I understood. When the time of Fajr came, the Adhan of Fajr, was it obligatory for this boy to fast? He was still counted as a child. But at 10 a.m., he transitioned from child to now a person who is being held to account. So his time begins from that 10 a.m. So that day has gone. But the day after, he must fast. The day after, he must fast. What about those 10 days? Because I said on the 10th of Ramadan is when he saw the wet dream. What about those 10 days that have passed or the 9 days that have passed? Should he pay them back? No, he should not pay them back. Why? Because it was not obligatory upon him on that time. طيب, are we supposed to command our young children who are 7, 8 years to fast? Why? This is the question. Why are we supposed to command our children who are 8, 9, 10 years to fast? To practice. So the Sahabiyat, the female companions of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, they used to make sure the kids eat well at the time of suhoor, then they teach them to fast. At 12 o'clock, the child starts crying, so they're given toys or something to play with, something to make them busy, or the mother goes to boil some water and she acts like she's cooking, so the child waits until it reaches the time of Maghrib. So it is very important to train our children to fast. The next issue, Ikhwani Fillah, we finished all the issues regarding puberty. The third condition, Ikhwani Fillah, for you to have Sawm obligatory upon you is that you have to have the mental capacity. You should be okay mentally. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, رُفِعَ الْقَلَمُ عَنْ ثَلَاثَةٍ عن النائم حتى يستيقظ وعن الصبي حتى يبلغ وعن المجنون حتى يعقل. The one who is majnoon, the one who has lost his brain, until he gets his brain back, siyam will not be obligatory upon them. Siyam will not be obligatory upon them. There's no khilaf on this issue. طيب. A question appears, ikhwani fillah, and may Allah protect all of us. It happens to some people that they lose their mind. We have seen, even in the mosque here, we see always incidences of people where they lose their faculties. Type. So a person, ikhwani fillah, has been majnoon. He has been mentally incapacitated for a while. Then on the 10th of Ramadan, Allah favors him and his brain comes back. Are you together? Is he supposed to pay for all those days he missed for before? No, he's not supposed to pay. Why? Because it was not obligatory upon him. Simple answer, it was not obligatory upon him. What about that particular day? That same day at 11 o'clock, he wakes up, alhamdulillah, his brain has come back, he's normal again. Is he supposed to pay for that day? No. Because at the time of obligation, it was not wajib upon him. Are we together, ikhwan fillah? Type. Many issues related to this. He says, a person has the intention that tomorrow I'm going to fast Ramadan. Then he has an event or an episode, he loses his mind. And it does not come back to him, his senses, until the next day after Maghrib. Is that day accepted from him as siyam? He has not eaten anything, but he's lost his mind. The scholars, they say, that day is not accepted from him, and he does not need to pay because it was not obligatory for him that day. However, if he has just even a small portion of the day where his brain comes back and he understands that I am not eating today because it's Ramadan, I have to keep away from food, I have to keep away from drink, I have to keep away from sexual relations, then his sawm is accepted. His sawm is accepted. Related to this issue, ikhwani fillah, is someone who has a disease known as dementia. Some people, when they grow old, they have they're affected mentally. The brain is a muscle also, it gets affected. So they get something called dementia or Alzheimer's or amnesia, and they don't have any memories or they don't understand what is going on, and they're similar to the person who is mentally, you can't use, we were taught in school, you can't call people crazy or mad. You have to be very polite in the terminology used. So understand when I'm saying mentally incapacitated or mentally disabled, those are polite ways of expressing it. Not the Swahili way of saying wazimu, cheesy, or whatever. Always be polite even when it regards to this issue. And you pray Allah protects you from it. Because sometimes you can make fun about someone, then it falls on you, or it falls on someone that is close to you. Are you together? So you have to be very careful with your utterances. Even in describing these people, you pray for them and you say, may Allah, all praise is due to Allah who has protected me or preserved me from that which has affected them. Alhamdulillah, alladhi afana bimma ibtalahum. Taib. So a person who has dementia, who has Alzheimer's, who has amnesia, all these people, siyam is not obligatory upon them. It's not obligatory upon them. They don't even need to feed because the obligation has fallen off. That is not a sickness. That is a person who is similar to the majnoon in a way. So siyam is not even obligatory on them. So even siyam or fidya is not obligatory upon them. Have you understood that? It's a very important issue. You find some people who reach ardal al-umr. They reach an age where they can't control themselves. They become like babies. They have to wear diapers. They have to be washed. Mentally, they can't even know this is my son or this is my daughter. They don't understand. So how do you expect for that person to have siyam obligatory upon them? They're not even understanding. They don't have that, I am doing this to get close to Allah Azza wa Jal. There's no that intention, that will. So that the siyam, it does not become obligatory upon them. Taib, a very important issue, ikhwani fillah, you fast. Then, because of an issue, you fall unconscious. Any issue, maybe you enter an accident, maybe you're diabetic, your glucose levels, insulin, whatever, you're unconscious. If you are cautious for the whole day, what is the ruling? If you are cautious in the whole day, that day your siyam will not be accepted. Your siyam will not be accepted, and you have to pay for that day. And you have to pay for that day. But if you're able just to understand or get your faculties back just for a short portion of that day, then your siyam is accepted. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. The same way, if you enter an operation, if you're operated upon, and they give you anesthesia to sleep, if you're asleep the entire period of siyam, that day is not accepted from you. You have to fast that day another day. You have to fast that day another day. So, Khanifillah, this is the fourth condition that we have taken. The first condition was Islam. The second condition was puberty. The third condition was, this is third condition we took, which is al-aql. Mentally, you have to be okay. You have to be ready to fast. The fourth condition, Khanifillah, that we're also taking is that you have to be a resident. For siyam to be wajib upon you, you have to be a resident of an area. So siyam is not wajib on the musafir. If he wishes, he can fast. If he wishes, he can break his fast. Are you together? Some brothers are asking me, I am a truck driver. Every day I'm on the road. Every day I'm on the road. So I'm musafir every day. طيب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told you, فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. You can break your fast, but you must pay. You must pay. Even if you have been driving non-stop for the last 10 years and you owe 300 days of fasting, you still have to pay. Why? Because siyam is from the pillars of Islam. It is obligatory on you as a person, not as a community. This is a fardu ayn. It's an obligation on you as an individual. So even if you have 300 days, you have to pay. Similarly, the woman who's breastfeeding, or the woman who is pregnant every year. She's pregnant, mashallah, every year she gives birth. She's not able to fast because she fears for her health or the health of her baby. We tell her, you can break your fast. But when you get well, when you're able to, you have to pay those days that you missed. Even if it is 10 years, you have not fasted, you still have to pay. Similarly, the person who is sick. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us the person who is sick or the musafir, فَعِدَّةُ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. They pay it when they get well. So a person who is sick, a sickness that is not a terminal sickness, a person who is sick, maybe they have a situation 5 years, 7 years, they're not able to fast because of a situation, then Allah gives them their health back. They have to fast those 7 years that they missed. So the fourth condition, Ukhani fillah, for Sawm to be obligatory upon you, that you're not allowed to break your fast, is if you're a resident. If you're a resident type. Also, a similar issue comes, Ukhani fillah, some people want to play games. They come home and they look at the wife looks very beautiful today. So they say to the wife, let us go to Nakuru for a short while. Or let us go to Mombasa for a short while. They go for a reason, is to break the fast so that they can do something that they are not allowed to do in the day of Ramadan. Are you together? Is such a person allowed to do such an act? No. Because the Sharia has come with protection from you playing games. There are some people who want to play games in Sharia. The Bani Israel, they were told, do not fish on Saturdays. Do not do what? Fish on Saturdays. So they saw that the fish on Saturday was not as much as Friday and Thursday and Sundays. So what they did, they saw that they were told not to fish on Saturday. So subhanAllah, Allah gave them imtihan. On Saturday, it's like the fish are celebrating. They know, today there's no fishing. They come out openly provoking them. So Bani Israel are saying, look, the fish are a lot on Saturday, more than every other days. We're not benefiting from this one day of the week. So they decided, let us put a net on Friday, our nets on Friday. Saturday will rest, but Sunday will come and remove our net and take that fish. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cursed them and turn them into apes and pigs, as mentioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-A'raf. So you cannot play games with the Sharia. So you travel all the way to Mombasa for this one purpose of making an act that Allah has made haram for you during the day, halal for you because you're a musafir, you're playing games with the Sharia. And we tell you, you shall have to be punished severely by fasting 2 months consecutively. You'll have to fast 2 months consecutively. So the fourth condition, Fillah, is that of al-iqama. You have to be a resident. This issue we'll study more when you're studying the book of Salah. What is the borderline whereby a person is considered resident and a person is considered traveler? If you live here and you go to Athi River, are you a traveler or are you still resident of Nairobi? Answer. If you live here, Athi River is how many kilometers away? 30 kilometers or 25? 25, 30 kilometers? Type. You've left here, you've gone to Athi River. Is Athi River, are you still counted, you're within the area of residence, or you're now a musafir? Or you reach Isinya. Isinya is what, 70 kilometers maybe? From Nairobi to Isinya, 70 kilometers. Are you still considered a resident, or are you now a musafir? Or you live here, you're going to Thika, or to Kiambu, or to Nakuru. What is the borderline that changes from residency to traveler, from traveler to residency? Are you together? Some scholars have said 80 kilometers. 80 kilometers. But the correct opinion is what we agree in society to be travel will be considered travel. What we agree in society, in our community, that is travel, that is safari. Kwa lugha hata unasema sisi tuko kwa safari. That will be considered travel and you'll become a traveler. This removes a lot of problems. For example, you go to a city like Tokyo or Beijing. 80 kilometers is within the city. You can travel 80 kilometers or 85 kilometers and 90 kilometers, but you're still within the city of Tokyo or the city of Beijing or so on and so forth. Then will you say you're a traveler? The Prophet ﷺ, when he was performing his Hajj, he left Medina, he reached Dhul Hulayfa. Dhul Hulayfa is the miqat of the people of Medina when they're going to perform Hajj or Umrah. Dhul Hulayfa is only 11 kilometers from Masjid Nabawi or so. Prophet ﷺ, he reduced his prayers from 4 to 2. Right, together. So he did not look at the kilometers, rather he looked at what is considered travel and what is considered residency. I hope that is for benefit only. The next condition, Ikhwan Fillah, is that you should have the ability to fast. You should have the ability to fast. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ما جاء عليكم في الدين من حرج. And there's no khilaf upon this. So you're a person who has to be healthy, you're able to fast, you have the health and the capacity to physically to fast. That's condition number 4 or 5? 5, yes. Number 6, specific to ladies, you have to be pure from menstruation and the bleeding that comes after pregnancy, after giving birth or miscarriage. So the lady who has her periods today, yes, she's now transitioned from a child to puberty, but she cannot fast, of course. She has to wait 6 days and 7 days. Then she gets pure. Then the day she gets pure is when the obligation starts for her. The day she gets pure is when the obligation starts for her. The issue that the scholars mention here, number one, it's not allowed for a woman who is in her periods to fast. It's haram. It's extremism. It is a major sin. You're going against the Sharia. And this is the way of the Khawarij. The extremists, the Khawarij sect, are the ones who used to say that a woman who is fasting, who is on her periods, has to pay her fast. So she has to also pay her siyam. No. The woman who is in her periods, it's haram for her to fast, but she must pay it later. But it's not a must for her to pay her salah. The issue that comes upon fillah is the issue we mentioned yesterday. If a woman who is in her periods sees the sign of purity any time of the day of Ramadan, most women have periods for 6 days or 7 days. Most. But some have different days. Some have even 1 day, some even 10, 12, maximum is 14 days. So a lady has a period for 6 days or 7 days. At 10 or 11 a.m., for example, she sees the sign of purity. They know how all ladies have, some have the white, they can see the white strand, others have other ways of, the blood has stopped or any means of knowing. So this lady has seen the sign of purity at 10 a.m. She takes her bath. She has to pray the next salah, which is Salat al-Dhuhr, when it reaches. Are you together? Is she supposed to not eat the remainder of the day, respecting Ramadan, as some of the scholars have said? Some of the scholars have said that she has to respect Ramadan. This is the madhab of Abu Hanifa, the Hanafiya. She has to respect Ramadan by not eating the remainder of the day. But we said this opinion is not the correct opinion. The opinion that we follow as the Shafi'iyya in Kenya and the madhab of Imam Malik is that there's no, number one, there's no benefit for her not to eat the remainder of the day. Is there any benefit, reward-wise? Will that be counted like half a day of fasting, for example? Is there something like half a day of fasting? Or a quarter of a day of fasting? Or a third of a day? You've either fasted or not fasted. So there's no benefit. Number two, there's no evidence for making it obligatory upon her to not eat the remainder of the day. Of course, she has to respect Ramadan. She has to respect the sensitivities in society by not eating it publicly and showing off and provoking people. But she can eat in a private space. Similar to this, Ikhwan Fillah, is the child. A child has reached puberty during the day of Ramadan. You don't tell him you can't eat the remainder of the day. Just be consistent. If you say the woman who is in her periods, she's pure, she can eat the remainder of the day, also the child. Also the non-Muslim who has become a Muslim during the day of Ramadan, don't tell him you stop not eating. He can continue eating in his private space. Also the majnoon, the person who's lost his brain, when he gets back his brain during the day, you don't tell him stop eating. Maybe that disease or that affected him even with his nutrition physically, don't refuse him food. So just be consistent with all the rulings. There's nothing like saying that you stop eating the remainder of the day. Also the musafir. You're all residents of Nairobi. You've come from Dubai, you've come from Tanzania, you've come from Umrah, you've reached Nairobi as a musafir. We don't tell you that when you reach here, stop eating, because you're no longer a musafir, you're now a resident. Stop eating the remainder of the day. The same facts apply to the woman who's menstruating. Number one, what is the benefit of me not eating the remainder of the day? Sheikh, where is the evidence for you refusing me to eat the remainder of the day? Are you together? But you still have to respect the sensitivities that are there in society. Type. So this is the final issue, Ikhwani Fillah, is it allowed for ladies to use pills so that they do not menstruate in the month of Ramadan? Ulama saying no. Who's saying no? Is it allowed for a lady not to use pills so that they don't menstruate in Ramadan? Also pills, similarly in Hajj. Some ladies, is it okay for them to use the pills so that the days of Hajj, they don't miss the tawaf, al-ifada, the sa'i bayna Safa wal Marwa, and so on and so forth? Is it okay for them not to use these pills? It is okay for them to use these pills with one condition, very important condition. It does not have a negative effect on them. It does not have a negative effect on them. The woman, Ikhwani Fillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created her body that she has a natural way of her body cleaning herself. So every month the body cleans herself by this bleeding. It removes the toxins and harmful things in our blood. It has been proven scientifically, Ikhwani Fillah, that the gold has small particles that enters the blood and it harms you health-wise. But for the ladies, the body cleans it out. So you as a man, when Allah has told you, and the Prophet has told you, do not wear gold, you say, Sam'an wa ta'a, we have obeyed. Then later on, 1,400 years ago, some scientist comes and discovers and says, actually gold is harmful to you, because if, as a man, because it enters, the particles enter the bloodstream and affects you. As a man, you don't have a way of cleaning your body. The seventh condition is that you have to have intention to fast. Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam says in the most important hadith, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَّا نَوَى. He says, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ. There's different narrations. That every act goes with intention. So you're required, ikhwani fillah, that you should have the intention to fast an obligatory fast. For every fast that is obligatory, you should decide at night that tomorrow I'm fasting an obligatory fast. At night you should have that intention or that decision that tomorrow I'm fasting a fast which is obligatory. It has to start from the night, before Fajr, before the Adhan of Fajr. This covers every obligatory fast. Ramadan, Nadhr, Kafara, paying for a missed fast. You have to have the intention from the night. Are you together? Type. For Sunnah, the fast that is a Sunnah, any fast that is a voluntary fast, it is accepted from you to keep the intention any time of the day as long as you have not eaten or drunk or had sexual relations during the day. So at 11 a.m., the Prophet ﷺ, during the day, he entered the house, asked the wife, is there any food today? He says, there's no food. Then he says, then I'm fasting. Then I'm fasting. So you can decide at 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 12 p.m. is noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., any time of the day, that I am fasting now. I've not eaten since morning, I've not drunk, I've not done anything that breaks my siyam or invalidates my siyam. I can fast my voluntary fast. So wajib, the intention has to be from the night. For sunnah, it can be at the night or any time during the day, as long as you have not done anything to invalidate your fast. Are you together? Every Psalm is that. The other question comes with the month of Ramadan. We are entering the month of Ramadan in a few weeks, in 2 weeks or so. Should this intention be every night? Ramadan has 29 days or 30 days. Should you every single night deciding that tomorrow I am fasting the day of Ramadan? Or is it sufficient for you just to know that we enter in the month of Ramadan? This is a Ramadan that every day we're fasting, so I'm fasting the entire month. The scholars have differed upon this. Some scholars have said every single night you should have that decision that tomorrow I am going to fast an obligatory fast, like the other obligatory fasts. But other scholars have said as long as you're fasting fasts that follow each other day in, day in, as long as they are following it to each other without a break, then it's sufficient you have one decision at the beginning of Ramadan. So you decide, all of you make the decision that this Ramadan I'm fasting. Are you together? However, if you travel and you break your fast that day, or you're sick that day, that is a break. Then you have to make a fresh intention, a fresh niyyah that you're fasting the next day, an obligatory fast. And where is the intention? The place of the intention is the heart. The place of the intention is the heart. Allah knows what is in the heart. You don't need to come and nawaitu an asuma ghadan sawman fardan. You don't even know the Arabic and you're forcing yourself to read. You don't even understand that Arabic. The place of the intention is the heart. Saying it by the tongue is something Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam never did, never taught. None of his companions did. So that is just making it difficult for people for the deen. Taib. A very important issue, ikhwan fillah, is the issue of someone says, I'm breaking my fast. He changes the intention from fasting to breaking his fast. If he has made a firm decision to break his fast, even if he has not drunk water or eaten food or done anything that breaks his fast, just changing the intention breaks his fast. Are you together? So your intention should be there the entire day that I'm fasting this day for Ramadan. But sometimes the waswas comes to you, waswas you ignore. Should I continue with this fast? No, I should not continue. Maybe I continue, that way you have not made a decision. You're mutaraddid. But the one you make a decision, you say, I am breaking this fast, no. Then you've broken your fast. And the unfortunate thing that's going to happen to our brothers right now in Gaza, also Sudan and many other places, is people will not have water or food, especially the northern part of Gaza. They'll be breaking their fast just with the intention. Oh Allah, the day of Ramadan has ended, I am breaking my fast. I have no water, I have no food. So you can break your fast also with intention. So the intention has a very important part to play. Sometimes you're not sure, there's always this khilaf. There's always khilaf. They call the moon wars. You're not sure if tomorrow is Ramadan or tomorrow is not Ramadan. So sometimes you can keep a condition, it's allowed. You say, oh Allah, you know best. If tomorrow is Ramadan, I'm fasting tomorrow. If it is Ramadan, then I'm fasting an obligatory fast. If it is Ramadan, then I'm fasting an obligatory fast. This is accepted. It's accepted. So these are the conditions, ikhwani fillah, that are required for you as a Muslim, for Sawm to be obligatory upon you, or for Sawm to be accepted from you. The first condition, ikhwani fillah, is that of Islam. You have to be a Muslim for your Sawm to be accepted from you. It is obligatory on every person. Even the non-Muslims, they're going to be punished for not fasting. They're going to be punished for not accepting Islam and everything that comes with Islam. The second condition is that of puberty. And we said puberty has 4 signs. Sign number 1, each reaching the age of 15. The second sign, wet dreams. The third sign, pubic hair. The fourth sign that is specific to girls is menstruation. So a girl menstruates at the age of 9 or 10. After she gets pure, she's no longer a child. The pen will be writing her deeds. So she must fast. She must pray. Don't tell your child, your girl child, you're still young, Ujafika, you've not reached 15. No, if she has reached menstruation, she's already a person who is accountable. She must fast, she must pray, she must do all acts that are required of her. The third condition, ikhwani fillah, is mental capacity. So if someone is mentally incapacitated by sickness, amnesia, Alzheimer, or some other form of retardation or dementia or so on and so forth, then Siyam is not obligated upon them. The fourth condition is what? They have to be a resident. The fifth condition, they have to be able to fast. The sixth condition, they have to be pure from menstruation and postnatal bleeding, the bleeding that comes after pregnancy. And the seventh condition is that the intention must be there. Inshallah, we shall continue the lecture tomorrow with other issues with Siyam, and we'll take questions tomorrow, inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.